Good evening, or actually, good afternoon. It is still afternoon, late afternoon. Good late afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Christopher Bowen, on this wonderful edition of, well, not necessarily wonderful, because we got some very interesting things going on in the world, but in a sense, this is a very productive and actually peaceful. And once again, transitioning into paradisical transition of this wonderful renaissance, of this edition of Fire of Liberty. Now, Fire of Liberty. What does liberty mean? It's not the just relentless onslaught of tenacity that exists in the mind of freaking McCain. Unacceptable. Definitely not in the mindset of just this ideology of, putting things in a box. And what the wonderful thing about liberty is that it allows you to, and this is really natural. It's natural liberty for natural rights and natural laws to naturally allow a natural progression for the natural limitlessness of the human potential and the human mind, which is to expand into ultimately into infinity, not just based off of imagination, but based off the facts, which creates wonderful inventions and technologies which already exist to better our entire world, which should be, once again, protected. Not to say that it is not protected, but to say, or not to say that it... Well, the point of the U.S. Constitution is to protect our very natural rights, our God-given rights, from subversion, from tyranny, from tyranny. And of course, I'm beating the dead horse here, but it's important to give actual examples, because in every single facet, I know every single day that there's incredible, great revelations, and it's amazing because I realize more and more that I'm just not wrong. But and I'll definitely admit when I'm right, or definitely admit when I'm wrong. And here's the reason why. Here's some of the major points that we got going on here. We got which has been out for a very long time, and if you want to research it yourself for some reason, if you don't believe in my integrity, go ahead, waste your time. But I'm just telling you the truth right now. Whether technology, you can build it, it's already been built, it's already been out there, so obviously, that's a possibility to build it and make it. And of course, the wonderful positive attribute that would provide for architecture, for agriculture alone, and actually for architecture, for building clay homes that are incredibly strong, and can withstand any type of hurricane or weather in a very, very large environment for a very, very short amount of time. Very, very quickly, just with weather technology. You can build igloos, you can build sand castles, you can build clay castles, you can build adobe houses very, very quickly with weather technology. And you can build, literally in minutes, actually, protection from whatever it might be. You can use the weather to have protection from the weather. Say a tornado's coming in, you build a giant clay dome over the city or whatever it's traveling through. The entire city is protected, and there is no harm, there is no chaos, there is no destruction. You save thousands and hundreds of thousands, probably even millions of dollars in destruction that would normally cause, and also a lot of time and effort and money that was spent on traveling there, building the house, raising a family, and then having it knocked over by a hurricane or a tornado. You see, these are really simple, obvious solutions that do exist, and have existed for decades. And obviously that's what one of the major things that my company does. The other thing is the actual liberty that is provided with, the freedom that is instilled from, for example, these technologies. Because for example, let's go with the analogy of a tractor. A tractor easily mows, plows, plants, and grows any type of seed, any type of farming, any type of anything that you want to have. Are you going to get mad at the tractor, or are you going to, disagree with having a tractor because it's a type of robot? It's going to replace. You can make the argument that it's going to replace a bunch of jobs because it's a robot. You can't have tractors. And at the same time, you can't necessarily say that at the same time we got people coming in who fit those jobs, so we we should have those jobs, and because there's a certain group people who don't want to. First of all, I don't want to hear that, to be honest. What kind of okay, you have a large plethora group of people who want to work this job, who want to build this job. Of course, you come from, and that's what America is made out of. But we can't have robots, because robots will replace the jobs that are coming in here to be more productive for those who don't want to do the jobs. So, you got people who don't want to do the jobs, you should have robots doing those jobs. And if you have people who do want to do the jobs and you don't have robots doing the jobs, it's very, very simple. The same way that, a tractor isn't replacing people's jobs, it's just a very effective invention, just like the cotton gin, just like the hang glider, just like a scythe, just like a freaking lawnmower. It's an effective tool to get the job done. Now, even better, more effective tool for harvesting would be, for example, growing crops in a much better, and this is what it produces: abundance, and therefore economic freedom, therefore economic liberty. You gotta, and I love this analogy, because this is just only one avenue that this can go down. Obviously, I mean, the limitlessness of the positivity of this liberty, this positive liberty, is ultimately just absolutely organic, literally, no pun intended. Because you got what? You basically, okay, you have an entire farmland. Let's be realistic here. 100,000 acres. 100,000 acres of, let's say, vegetables. All the vegetables you can think of. Every single vegetables in this 100,000 acre land. You're able to feed, or able to water, able to plant, and able to feed and harvest every single plant easily, quickly, and efficiently and effectively, and 4 times more effectively and efficiently, which is an understatement, than any other farm ever. So now, and also because you have this water technology, you can not only, for example, build layers, which is kind of duh. Like, I mean, how much space do we have to go into the sky? You build layers on top of layers, on top of farmland, on top of layers, on top of greenhouses, on top of layers, and you can go 1,000, 2,000 feet up. Once again, you got even more space, vertical space in between your farmland. You got the ability to use these type of abundance to supply whatever demand is there. So, for example, now here's the thing. For example, with this weather technology, with these tools, I mean, the cost towards sustaining that is nothing, especially when you combine it with zero-point energy, which is also a very key topic, which I've reiterated over and 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 over again. And free energy technology, obviously. You have a self-sufficient system that runs the self-sufficient technology, which is self-sufficient, that has no cost, that is more beneficial than any other system that ever existed in our time frame. And you add it to the agriculture, you produce abundance of foods, you sell record loads of food in the planefuls, in the busfuls, in the trainfuls, all over the country from this one farm. Alright, so now you got hydroponic gardening from one area that is so large and so abundant. You've got just endless supplies, literally endless supplies of, in this case, in this scenario, vegetables. Of course, it applies to other staple crops and other stuff like that, but it's endless, obviously. And of course, I've mentioned the benefit of zero-point energy before, and of course, that not only applies to to the weather technology, which of course is a wonderful transition for agriculture. Of course, you can apply it to transportation, and of course that makes transportation better. That makes customers happier. That makes it more efficient. That makes more economic freedom, more economic liberty, more freedom for people to expand their abilities to do whatever they want to do. More human potential. All right. So what are the things? You saved time on getting your food. You saved money, for example, or whatever type of currency or whatever type of trading that involves at that stage, because you have abundance on a level that planet Earth has never seen before. All right, and the way to transport it, Mother Earth has never seen before. All right, so you got all these situations, and you have basically, honestly, the ability to have all this food and not have to pay anything for it. So now, everything that we put towards food, that entire economic market that we put towards food is a massive surplus, all right? So now we have this massive surplus to use on other things, on housing, on what would normally, let's just consider like this advanced technology was only used toward agriculture, which is already a huge economic boost that would create a surplus for decades. So this surplus only, existed from this abundance. You got this surplus that can now go towards transportation. You got this surplus that can now go towards your housing, towards any type of bills, towards any type of education. And guess what? Pretty much everything is paid for just because of this really simple solution that stems from the combination of zero-point energy combined with the technology in farming, harvesting, plowing, and the zero-point energy tied into, for example, or may not necessarily need to be tied into, the weather technology that provides for, and creates these massive, abundant crops for abundance. All right, see, that's already a wonderful, great way of thinking. And guess what? Hey, Plato was criticized for being far ahead of his time at that time. I am too. I know the truth. It's going to set us free. It's going to set you free, and it's a wonderful transition that we're going into. The other thing is, we need to and I mentioned this before. Once again, we need to be able to repetition there, use these ultimate technologies to once again create a foundation for a galactic society, which obviously needs, for example, a spaceport. Once again, these advanced technologies of these advanced propulsion systems should be here to make sure that we create those things. And if you want to do the research, you can do the research. Wonderful thing I actually do need to check out, which probably has already been described and probably is already out. I mean, not probably already out. I mean, I hope it is on YouTube, but I doubt it. I suggest that every single person get a DVD of Unacknowledged. It is now on sale, and oh my god, dude. I'm going to look it up right now. Unacknowledged is by Stephen Greer. Or not by Stephen Greer. Serious Disclosure, Stephen Greer, and many of his other beings that he was involved with. I mean, like human beings and beings in general, and all of the interviews. I mean, it is countless, and the amazing testimonies that were there. And this goes back to 2000. It goes back before I was born, of course, but it goes back to 2001 when he was describing all these things. So basically, the point is, it describes the criminal activity that's been used to have secrecy about the UFOs, and it also goes over the actual testimonies of those who have actually seen these quote-unquote unidentified flying objects, and it goes over the advanced technology that's been kept secret from us for ages. And it's also going to go into the type of technology which I have described and a lot which I haven't described that is going to be put out to the public to allow us to live in a very, very advanced civilization, which very quickly should be able to move into a Type 1. That's what one of the major things that my company is all about. I'm done supporting a Type 0 civilization. Because obviously it doesn't work. But, once again, this campaign ends illegal UFO and free energy secrecy, which I've been advocating since, which I've talked about since last year, which I've advocated for a long time. Oh, I definitely suggest that you continue to support them, of course. I mean, but think about how awesome this time is. I mean, this timing couldn't be more perfect. I mean, this was back in... I'm trying to figure out when this was released. I can't find out. I know it's on here somewhere, but I'm so excited. I'm impatient. This campaign. Well, I have lots of patience, more patience than most people, but it's not about me, of course. This campaign, combined with the campaign that's going on with freedom, not only in America but in France. This is a literal awakening, which I've already described before, and the literal freedom of just true liberty around the world. So actually, I shouldn't even be complaining about McCain because he's so he's so obsolete. So I am not worried at all. To be honest, I mean, I'm so fired up. I'm so knowing the truth. I'm just, and it's not about me being knowing the truth and this and this and that. It's really just about, the wonderful peace and paradise that is so clearly obvious and how that creation can be put into play. That abundance, prosperity is one of the key things to that. It's kind of like the solution, and at the same time, it's also the product, and one of the factors. This fruition of a growth of amazing prosperity is so monumental, and the healing that comes from this holographic rejuvenation medbeds literally just ends all disease completely. There's so many people that are going to be happy with that. It's so wonderful. And that's the type of solution that exists in the 21st century. We got massive surplus. We got liberty running rampant in the minds of man. We got desire to be free. So this time is greater than ever, and we have awakening, and this time only gets better and better. In a sense, this is, once again, not disheartening what I said before about peace, but in a sense, this is about the return of the Republic. This is about not necessarily awakening to the lies and disinformation that is trying to be spewed by, for example, the fake stream media and MSN and all that stuff. Of course, I don't need to bring that back up. The truth of the more enlightened existence that is all developed from human reason, which can pretty much obliterate old paradigms really quickly of enslavement and tyranny, can be overthrown very, very quickly. For example, the issues of housing. There are so many solutions to that, it is ridiculous. First of all, the amount of abundance that comes into creating, for example, a home, like a real 21st century home, like verging on 22 seconds. I mean, this is, first of all, remember, this is the Renaissance, so we got new ages of agriculture, development, and energy to actually create things. Once again, the ability to develop houses, build houses, will take minutes. All right? I described that in many episodes ago in great detail. The magnificence of how we can create these marvelous, beautiful, grand homes is, once again, pushing the boundaries of our imagination. Because what are we able to do? We're able to have underground cities. We're able to have underwater cities. We're able to have underwater towns. We're able to have sky cities, sky towns. And I've already reiterated that before, but I'm going to do it again because I don't mind. With zero point energy, of course, combined with the type of platform that can sustain all of the structure of what you can possibly think of what you want to do on that plane, can be done. Now, all right, so 1,000, we got it 1,000 feet in the air, which is not necessarily pillars or anything that's holding it down to the surface below, but you have, once again, different types of zero-point energy devices, different types of massless object, for example, manipulation, zero-point energy, anti-gravity, we'll call it for the sake of that, electromagnetic gravitics, to not only, like, for example, float it and have it sustained, but actually have it move, have it be a massive EMG or a massive VMV. I mean, come on. That could be a wonderful, beautiful, not could be, but is a wonderful, I mean, that's one of the things that Project Rejuvenate is working on. It's a Project Rejuvenate combined with Project Immortalized. Working on, I mean, that's just one of the things. It also stems, a lot of it stems from the ideas and the hard work that Jacques Fresco put into, for over 100 years, put into the Venus Project, as well as his many other companions and many other people that he talked to on his road, and they asked him all these questions, and of course you can watch his documentary, his documentary called The Choice is Ours, and it really breaks that down very, very well. These type of problems that we said to have, not only does he solve them all, but, for example, I take it to the next level, and I, once again, bring that into fruition and take that to the next level, because it's not to necessarily sustain this Type 0 civilization. It's to sustain and build next level, meaning Type 1, and then that is to be the foundation for Type 2 civilization. I'm reaching a Type 2 civilization in my lifetime. I am doing that. And obviously, peace and prosperity is a wonderful way to do it. Of course, with Christian, and we can just see Christian environments, that's where it prospers. For example, as history shows. But once again, this prosperity, this abundance, and this beautiful peace, and this magnificent paradisical existence is going to be so grand that, once again, just the attraction of it is going to literally eliminate any ideology of violence, of degradation, of war, of suffering, of famine, of poverty, ultimately because it can't exist. So, once again, the EMG is a very, very, and there already exist many types of EMGs. Obviously, this type of creation is something that can happen not only without any form of economic burden, but it happens without any type of pollution, and it also happens incredibly quickly. Once again, this can be done. I mean, this is a win-win situation. You can set the foundation and then create it in the transition of going into a Type 1 civilization, or you can just, build it in that Type 1 civilization and then just have it boom, 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 boom. Economic growth, amazing growth, just everywhere. At the same rate that you can build a tent is the same rate you can construct these massive, beautiful, wonderful, paradisical cities. Once again, new level of agriculture. Once again, new level, and it's not, of course, involving. That's what makes it so. It's not involving electricity. It's not involving gas. It's not involving coal. It's not involving the previous fossil fuels that result from fueling a Type 0 civilization. That's destructive, alright? I go into that previously, but I'm not going to harp on that because I don't need to. The important part of that fact is, obviously, when a Type 1 civilization that is able to run itself, they have enough energy to run itself, the entire planet, without any fossil fuels, that's just the foundation of a Type 2 civilization, which is able to output and harness the energy of a star. Basically, have enough energy output that compares to the energy output of a star. So obviously that's where I'm trying to get to. That's where we're getting to. That's where we're going to. So literally, and I've kind of similar to this situation with let me say this. I can't be bought or sold, There's and not that, of course, it's about, the money. Of course, it's not about the money. When it comes to the things that money can't buy, when it comes to that fruition foundation that money cannot buy, that money literally, like, you can have all the money in the world and you cannot buy these things. And it actually comes from a totally different substance. Then you're able to really, in a sense, be free and what it means to be free. Because once again, okay, you can't buy a spaceship. No matter how much money you have, you can't buy a spaceship yet. Not like a real, like, Andromedan biosphere. You can't buy a biosphere. But you know what? That's what's so special about the human nature, about human mind, is that, I, just from the research I've done, I'm able to piece these pieces together and form a better fruition, a better future for myself and my family, for America and for planet Earth. Of course, it's the legacy that I'm going to leave here, not necessarily anything else, not the money I make. I don't care about the money. Obviously, I don't care about the money. Because what? If and not whatever. I'm not going to brag about the stuff that goes on. But the point is, EMG cities is, once again, just only a taste of the type of structure that we're going to have. And that's just a smidgen of the civilization that, I can go on and on and on about it, because that's what freedom allows us to do, alright? When you don't have to worry about putting food on the table, or you don't have to worry about if you're going to make it to this location, or if you have to plan for this travel day, if you're going to get there on time, or if you have the funds to do all the type of vacationing or any type of car sale, deal, or car driving that you have to do, or have to deal with any type of housing bills or mortgages or things like that you have to pay, or any type of plane tickets or transportation tickets. This is the building of something so grand. And, once again, the self-gratification of being self-made that makes this so monumental. This is so key, and it's obviously, it's clear, and in a sense, it's no debate. Well, I shouldn't ask that question, but I was going to ask, who doesn't want to live in a world with absolute human liberty? And we do know those who wouldn't want that. Those who have a lot of control, a lot of power at the very top, because their system is based off of the Babylonian money magic and off of the control and enslavement via control of transportation, control of the oil, control of and all that stuff. That's all type 0 civilization. Obviously, you're not fooling me, and you're not fooling the younger generations. I'm just going to tell them. I'm pretty sure they know. I'm almost certain that they know, that they're aware of advanced propulsion technologies, that they're aware of the 0 point energy, and that they can't be fooled that, electricity is the best thing out there. I've been aware of that truth for a very long time, and now we have the DVD. I haven't seen the movie yet, I haven't seen the DVD yet, but I'm just gonna go with my instinct. I'm just gonna go with my gut instinct, and I'm just gonna say, I bet they go into detail about the propulsion systems, about this limitless energy, about the science that involves the Casimir effect. I'm not gonna go all sciencey into it, because I don't need to. It's just about for example, for the same reason we don't need to explain electricity, we just know we flip a switch and turn it on. We don't. Well, and of course, electricians and electrical engineers go into that, and they know how to do that. And we'll have the same thing, and that's the thing that's going to happen. We're going to have schools to study based upon that, and once again, we're going to be so prosperous. Being able to study what you want to study as much as you want, whenever you want, as fast as you want, can be available to you. And because, of course, the schools and education aren't just as large as, a continent and all the things we have to learn on this planet. We can learn from the ancient wisdom and teachings of Agartha and Telos, and we can also learn from our galactic brethren. So, with that in mind, of course, it's kind of like a no doubt that living in a Type 1 civilization would be a wonderful plus for the entire civilization. And it's a win-win, however you look at it. And it's ultimately allows us to have more freedom, it allows us to have more productivity, and allows us to have more growth. And once again, it's a whole new level of growth. It's a whole new level of prosperity. And once again, a whole new level of understanding of exactly how this type of existence can allow us to live in a brand new way. And this is, once again, freeing ourselves from old paradigms, which just allows us to awaken to the truth a bit faster, which allows us to open up our minds to to really open our eyes, in a sense to see, kind of what the phrase "wake up, smell the roses," to see the awesome opportunity that exists with the fact that, for example,